Okay. I knew I met him at the Labor Department.
Yeah.
And you was going to school, you went to Tuskegee.
Well, I went to Appleton, then I graduated from Lanier, and then I graduated from Tuskegee University.
And so how did you end up in politics?
A long story.
Give me the short version.
Representative, it was Billy Ramadan. I was trying to play football. I had gone to the Skins in '72 and I got cut. And I came back home and James Simonton, who was the athletic director at Northeast at that particular time, asked me if I would come over there and coach. I only had 3 hours of education. I had planned to go to law school. So I went over there and coached football, tennis, and basketball. And at the end of the school year, what we had is a lot of kids were going, a lot of athletes, white athletes were going to River North. Had transferred to go to River North Academy. And I got a station wagon from John Shoemate and took them to Black Mountain, North Carolina with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which I traveled with when I was in college. Jerry Stovall, Fran Tarkenton, Tom Landry, a lot of professional athletes. Mm-hmm. And took them up there and brought them back, and then they told their parents they wanted to stay at Northeast. And so that was a nucleus for us to try to have a football team. Next thing I knew, they were getting rid of the football coach. And when I found about it, I went and applied for the head coaching position. I was told I was too young to be the head coach. I was 22. So I just told them to take the job and they could have whatever they wanted to do and kept getting up. And I went up to a place called Sheboygan, Wisconsin and played semi-pro football, hoping to get a shot to get back in the pro. Al Table, who was a coach, assistant coach with the Cleveland Browns, he called me and said, David, we got a trial for you. I said, well, when do I get my ticket? He said, well, you got to buy your own plane ticket to get here. I said, Coach, can you look at the film? He said, no. At that time, Billy Randall we were kind of close, and Billy was going to handle my contract for me. And Billy Randall came and said, look, they have redistricted the city of Macon, man. There are 2 positions. So I went to the bank, got the $400 and qualified and ran. But I mean, I had been involved in stuff, back in the college.
And you ran unopposed.
I ran unopposed at that time. There were several other people talking about running, but they never paid the money to qualify to run.
Right, I remember a meeting once that it was a guy from the railroad was going to run. He said he was going to run. And then when it came down to paying the money, he didn't run. Yeah. He decided not to run. So that's how you got involved. Then you was involved in football teams and other things.
Well, yeah, I was involved in a lot of things, Herbert. Back during we called somewhat underestimating. I was involved with the folks in the demonstrations in Macon about the opportunities for folks in Macon and minorities, especially to working in stores downtown. And you were back during those demonstration movements.
Mm-hmm. So you've been involved in teaching youth to play football at Northeast. Right. And then you was involved in the, you had a football team, the Macon Chiefs.
Yeah, I had the Macon Chiefs. Basically, it's called a semi-pro, but the ball players didn't get paid. We just played by professional rules. They did it on their own time. There were a lot of good athletes around here who did not go off to school and play college ball, and they still wanted to play football. And so we had the Macon Chiefs. We lasted about 8 years. We won one championship and came in second.
You were the coach.
I played the first couple of years, and then I ended up coaching.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot. I owned the Georgia Titans. You remember that was the basketball team professional basketball team that we did bring to the Macon Coliseum, and it went under. I mean, it was one of the worst years, and they had as far as snow up north, and all the teams were up north, and we had to travel up there to play everybody. And the league folded during that year. The players were up in New York, and I had to find a way to get them all back here so they could get the clothes and ship them out.
And you were married to Elaine Huckabee Lucas.
Well, I'm married to Elaine Huckabee. The last part she got from me, the Lucas.
And you guys were married how long?
Herbert, in August we will celebrate our 35th anniversary.
That's a long time.
Well, yeah, but she's been good to me.
Okay. And you had,
We had 4 kids. You know, the oldest boy, David Jr., played for the Dallas Cowboys, and my daughter married Kenny Gant from the Dallas Cowboys, and then, of course, Lenny went to the Minnesota Vikings and then played arena and a half. Went to Pittsburgh and then went to Carolina and played 2 years with Carolina, and then he played with the arena football team in California until his demise.
okay. You've been around here a while then.
Well, there's no question about being around, Herbert. The thing is, what do you do for the people that you represent? And you're not going to make everybody happy. But if you don't do anything, then you don't have a problem because nobody's mad. But when you do something, folks get mad about something. But I think that the track record, that is one that I do have. It's in black and white print, and people can find out about it. I don't have to lie about it. It's there. And when you talk to these folks, I mean, just like I say, you can talk to the various folks who've been involved in these organizations, and they can tell you whether or not Representative Lucas has been responsive to the folks.
How effective have you been since the Republicans took over?
Herbert, for a Democrat to be effective since the Republicans took over, it's kind of nil and void. I mean, you get some things done. The politics have just changed dramatically. What you try to do, well, like for instance, Marge Alman came to me last year. They were finna lose $5 million. They finna send the $5 million back to Atlanta because the money was budgeted for child care, but they couldn't spend it. So they wanted to take the money and do it for after-school program. I met with a young lady by the name of Penny Houston, who was a subcommittee chair of the Human Resources Committee of the budget. And I brought them up there and we went through the whole thing. So then we brought the folks from DFACS, the state DFACS office, and we made them change the rules and regulations that would allow DFACS here to spend that $5 million on helping these young folks and these kids with after school through the child care program. You know, it's who you know. I mean, you got to know somebody. And, you know, I would say to you that a lot of folks at the Georgia General Assembly know David Lucas just by his seniority. And I guess a lot of times, though, they come to me and ask me about the rules. They always curious about how do they get around this or how do they get around that. Well, you know, I help them when it's not to my disadvantage.
That's all right. You got about 30 seconds. You can look directly into that camera there and tell the people of Macon and Bibb County anything you want to tell them.
Well, I would ask for their support as I resign my seat in the very, very near future to run for the state senate. I think I can represent Macon as well as Twiggs and Wilkerson. One of the most important things that's going on come this August is reapportionment. And right now, the population has grown in the metro area, and what they are saying is that once they start drawing lines for the metro area, whether or not they will cut Macon up into 3 or 4 districts. And therefore, we will end up with 3 senators and maybe 6 members of the Georgia House of Representatives split up running through rural counties. I don't think that's a viable plan, and I would fight that particular plan all the way. I think you got to have the experience to do it. I think you have to know the players. And I am that person that can do it.
Appreciate you very much. And I wish you the best. And we'll be right back.